School with Jason Simpson, the podcast where Indiana football takes center stage. I'm your host, Jason Simpson, and today we're riding the crest of a wave because the number 2 Hoosiers absolutely dominated UCLA 56-6 and Bloomington. From a pick six inside a minute to kick off to a relentless offense, defense, and left no doubt, and special teams firing on all cylinders, this was a statement win. We'll break down the early interception by Aiden Fisher, the way quarterback Fernando Mendoza and the Mendoza brothers lit up the scoreboard, the defensive shutdown at UCLA, and what this means for Indiana national title hopes. So buckle up, Hoosier Nation, because the road ahead just got a bit brighter. Let's dive in. So we're going to look at the statistics really quick, and of course, Indiana won the game. Total of 56-6. Time of possession was, we had 35.57 minutes. UCLA's 24.43. We had Indiana had 27 first downs. UCLA had 12. We had 475 total yards. So UCLA's 201. Passing yards 213. The UCLA's 113. Rushing yards, Indiana had 262 yards on the ground. Wow. Passing yards, did that already. Penalties, Indiana had 4 penalties, and UCLA had 8. Total return yards, Indiana had 51, to UCLA's 83. Total play 76-53 in favor of Indiana. Yards per play was Indiana was 6.3, with UCLA's 3.8. Indiana had 2 turnovers in the game, but our defense got 3. So, yeah, talking about Indiana football, well, what a game that was. It was just a great game, and we played really well. Going into the statistics of it all, just the game stats, it was amazing what we did in that game.
Yeah, I'm still at wow about this game, honestly. It's one of those things where you just don't know what you're getting yourself into. And
I really thought it was going to be closer than what it was, honestly. I did not expect this, I did not expect it was going to be this much of a win for Indiana. I thought it was going to be a lot closer. I really did. So, even looking at the player stats for Indiana, it was funny because online there was a lot of people saying, why did Indiana run up the score and let Mendoza stay in the game the whole game? And they didn't know that it's 2 different Mendozas. I'm sorry. People sometimes you just can't believe what they're doing, what they're saying,
yeah, of course, I'm part of that generation that spends a lot of time on TikTok and whatnot, and some of them were like, pancakes, schedule, week schedule. Of course, they would blow out UCLA, but not even a week ago they said it was going to be a good game.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a good game. Honestly, I did not expect, our second team to come in in the game, in the whole fourth quarter. A lot were shifted in the third quarter, and Aiden Fishing getting hurt in the first quarter with a cheap shot by a UCLA player. Of course, we got him back, which you have to do as a teammate without saying that.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, it's just been a crazy year for me. You know, I just can't believe this. It's like, wake me up. When are you gonna wake me up? It's just, you know, these. Oh man, this team is just. It's better than last year. I'm having a hard time talking about this. It's overwhelming, the year we're having. I mean, I've been watching Indiana football for 30 plus years, going to games, been a season ticket holder for a long time, and we've had some great coaches and teams in the past. I mean, I'm going back all the way to Bill Mallory. You know, I mean, that was the first team I watched that he was a coach, and their players, and to go all the way up to now, you know, the coaches in between. We've had some really good coaches. We had Coach Terry Hepner, passed away with cancer, but we've had some good coaches besides that. Honestly, I mean, there's a couple that I didn't really care for very much. Kevin Wilson was one of them. I didn't like him.
Yeah.
Jerry DiNardo sometimes wasn't very nice man, but I think it might have been stress. I don't know. He seems like he's a lot better now. But
we the rest everyone's mind, Coach Kurtzman said that he's a probable for the game against Maryland.
Yeah, he's probable.
So more likely, you know, Fisher is going to be out there playing and running around. Man, you know, he really set the intensity of the game. You know, he set the, you know, the tone. You know, he got that pick six, second drive of the game. Man, that
was amazing.
That was amazing. There's one thing I can't find. Maybe someone can help us out here about our kicker.
He's questionable coming into the game for next week, which people don't realize how important a kicker like that is, that can kick it out of the end zone and not give any return yards. And I hope that he's okay. But
yeah, we always hope the best. Man, I love seeing Alberto out there running around.
Yeah,
that was fun.
That was nice, and I think the coach just called his number to get a touchdown, a running touchdown. I mean, he had an amazing run before.
Come on, he had an amazing run, and he wanted to finish it.
He wanted to finish it.
You can't, especially whenever you're doing an option play like that, and everyone's watching Hemby.
Yeah.
Or Martin. Martin was next to him that play. Everyone was watching Martin, but he was just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna do it. He had me a little nervous there whenever that linebacker went low on him. I'm like, no, dude, don't do that. Especially Fernando running the ball in, man. His older brother running the ball in, and that was
Fernando going in for a touchdown too. That was pretty amazing.
Both the brothers ran in for a touchdown this game. That was nice.
Yeah, it was.
But again, I'm gonna say it again. I have nothing but upright respect for UCLA and their head coaches. But when you come into Indiana town, I'm very happy with our people there, our fans. They showed up. They stayed up until about the middle of the fourth. Yeah, it was kind of a blowout. We didn't expect that, or some may have, but it was definitely a game.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at this game, it's amazing that the team stats, but UCLA third down efficiency was 1 for 11, IU 12 for 16. Fourth down efficiency, some place where we have not done very well, we were 2 for 2 on fourth down, and UCLA was 1 for 3. Passing, like I said, 113 to 213 for IU. I mean, I can't believe it. And both of us were in the stands with my dad and some other people that we have sitting next to us that we've been friends for a long time. And we're like, watch the fake for the punt. And they try to do a reverse pass.
Yeah.
And it did not work.
My best buddy even said it, before the start of it. You know what I mean? He was like, watch the fake. He's sitting down, just zoned off looking at it. Watch the fake. Man,
Yeah.
he was right. Because as soon as I see that running back's hands go up, I was like, yeah, fake.
Yeah.
Thinking I'm still on the field again.
Yeah, I was too. I was like, man, that's just amazing to me.
And our strong safety out there getting it done, calling it out. I saw him call it out.
Moore and Farrell both.
Yeah, it was Farrell who got the tackle to stop that pass.
Yeah.
He called it out, got where he needed to be, right there, got some pressure on him, and would have liked to see an interception off of that. But, I mean, still turnover on downs, and we got the ball and took it back down. So, that's good. Seeing that we weren't going to be one of the teams that get us on that.
Yeah, it wasn't a premier game for Fernando, but it wasn't. People have to realize that it was orchestrated like that because we were better at running the ball against this team. So the coordinator was like, "We're gonna just run that. Let's go." Yeah. We had them beat on the line. We dominated them on both sides of the line. Fernando Mendoza, like I said, 50 for 22 for 168 yards, 7.6 average with 3 TDs. Well, you can't complain about 3 TDs.
No, at that
one
point,
interception.
At that point, whenever you're, up by that much, it's kind of nice to kind of just orchestrate, some different plays and not to give the other scouts for the next game any information. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he said, he had Surratt double coverage. They had.
Yeah, they did.
What's the other guy's name? Sorry, I've been up since 1 o'clock. Cooper. He, they went and double covered him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So then, the next man up was EJ. So EJ definitely made an impact on doing that, one-on-one. So.
Yeah, and some other stats that really amazed me. Fernando Mendoza's QBR was 91.3. Alberto Mendoza, 4 for 7, 45 yards, 6.4 average. He also threw an interception. His QBR was 93.9. He beat his older brother in QBR. Of course, he had a lot less plays, but anyway. So Robin Hemby was the leader in yardage for runs. He had 17 carries for 81 yards, 4.8 average, 2 TDs. Kalen Black had 10 carries, 70 yards, 7 yard average, and as long as 28. I mean, he's playing some of the best football I've seen him play since he came to IU from JMU.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a beast of a running back. And so he was second in the running. Fernando Mendoza was third in running, 5 carries, 45 yards, 9-yard average, and 1 TD. Long was 20. Alberto Mendoza his little brother. I'm sure he hates that, but I'm just saying that because people online. 4 carries, 39 yards, 9.8 average per carry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 1 TD, 26 was his long. Okay. Then you go to Kobe Martin. 9 carries, 26 yards, 2.9 average. His long was 6. Then you go all the way down to Solomon Vanderhorst, which I thought he would be getting more carries this year, but he hasn't. He's kind of a smaller back. He had 1 carry for 2 yards. Of course, 2 yards was that. So, in receiving now, this is something that I said that I saw on film before the game even started. I said, E.J. Williams is going to have a big game, I thought, this game, because who would get a cover? He had 5 catches, 109 yards, 21.8 average, 2 TDs. Long was 62. That was on the one when he was just busted coverage and he was just wide open.
Yeah.
Now you look at this. This is I'm really happy for this kid, Charlie Becker.
Mm-hmm.
He's making his waves through special teams, and now he's getting on the field with the offense, which I love. I love a kid that works hard, works his way up to play, and he had 2 catches, 35 yards. His long was 22, I just love that. I love to see a kid that comes in, really hard worker on special teams and gets a shot. Riley Nowalski, 3 carries, 17 yards. 3 receptions, 17 yards, which, I'm really surprised that our team hasn't gotten using a tight ends. We don't really use them much. We do in situationals, but
I think we used our tight ends a lot during the big game against Oregon. If the availability is there and this, the scouts and whatnot, they see that there's an opening for them, I think we would use them more. But the coverage that UCLA was running, they had eyes on our tight ends, 90% of the time.
Yeah.
I think it just comes with what defense and, what areas we could use them at. As much as I would love to see them more, we're just going to have to talk,
right.
situations here.
Another thing that surprised me is that Elijah Sherrod only had 2 receptions for 6 yards, and he had 1 TD.
It doesn't really surprise me much on that, just based on the fact, he's starting to get a name for himself.
They're double teaming him.
No matter what, they're gonna double team, Coop, they're gonna double team Surratt.
Yeah.
And, that leaves one man unless, they see another issue with EJ. Yeah. But if you pull all those people, then we have that run lane right there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're a high-powered offense. I mean, we have so many. And another player that came out and got to play, Jonathan Brady, had 1 reception for 5 yards. I love seeing these kids that work hard in other areas get to come in and play. Jackson Wasserstrom, who I did not even know who this kid was when he got on the field for a catch. I was really surprised. And Omar Cooper had 2 receptions, so for 2 yards. They locked down our best players, and they forgot that we have other players that can take the lead. Now into Indiana's defense. Isaiah Jones had a total of 8 tackles, 4 solo, 0.5 sacks. Boykin had 7 tackles, 3 solo. So, it's like, wow.
I liked what the defensive coordinator did on moving people around, and it definitely worked to our advantage in this game.
People were getting playing time too because Aiden Fisher wasn't out there.
No.
So Jamari Sharp had a good game. Tyrese Tucker had 1.5 sacks, 2.5 for total tackle for loss. We even had Zsa Boyd in there. 2 tackles, 1 solo. And there's a lot of young. If you're looking down the list, a lot of players got to see the field this game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good too. To get Boykin had a big interception. A guy that never, doesn't see the field very much. But he does come out, and I just was amazed by that game.
We shut them out pretty good, to be honest with you. I was really scared about these running backs UCLA had. And, we shut those gaps up pretty quick. And, it's good whenever you can walk off and not have any of those mistakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes for a good night's sleep, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm thinking about Maryland now. We're there. We're at Maryland.
And they're also coming off of a bye. I can't fathom that much.
Yeah, they got a lot of rest coming in. But I just.
And, they also, you got to think too, they lost a very close game to Washington. We really got to take in, consideration how good this Maryland team is. Washington has one of the best QBs, in the nation. One of, I would say. They lost another really close game against Nebraska too. So the score on that Washington game was 20-24, and that was Washington coming back at the half. They were about to shut Washington out.
Yeah.
And Nebraska game, I didn't get much time to watch Nebraska game, but if it's one of those blue collar teams. Coach always talks about that they're very good. They move the ball good, and they lost to another tight game, 31-34.
Yeah, it's like what Coach says. Like Coach Six says, every game is going to be a game. We can't go in, and just think it's going to be easy. Every game in the Big Ten is the next big game. So,
Yeah, it's definitely, and I believe every single, every single thing that Coach says about stuff like this, and he's right. You can't just walk in here thinking you're the best, and you're just gonna kind of leave your guard down, and you come in there again like it's your first game. You can't just walk into someone's house or even our house, and think entirely we're going to dominate. You don't know. Anything can happen on any given Saturday. I stand by that, and I'll say it every week if I have to.
Yeah. Well, some stats for Maryland football. Maryland scores 28.29 points per game. Their opponents are held to 17.29. Total points they've had is 198. The opponents 121. The first downs rushing 40 to opponents 49. Passing 77 to opponents 75. Penalties 14, opponents 19. So we'll see how this ends up. As far as rushing yard goes, their leader in rushing is Dejon Williams. 7 carries. Gain of 318 yards and 2 TDs. Nolan Ray, 51 attempts, 208 yards. Williams was 83 attempts, 318, so he gets a lot of work. Malik Washington, 24 attempts, 138. So, and passing, Malik Washington again. He's a dual threat quarterback. We've had to deal with that a lot this year. He's a true freshman, like I said. His rating for QBR is 124.79, completion of 160 to attempts is 268, 3 interceptions, 59.7 percentage, 1,716 yards, 11 TDs, average 245.14. But receiving yards, the leader is Shalik Knotts. So he has 471 yards, 5 TDs. The guy we'll have to look out for.
Yeah, like I'm looking at this Deshaun Williams kid. He's definitely a big body. Someone that, potentially would have to look out for. He has 171 rush yards versus the conference. He definitely someone that we would have to look out for. And of course, every single college out there has these 3 main things.
Their leading tackler is Daniel Wingate. He's a linebacker, 6'5", 230. Yeah, he has 44 solo tackles, 21 assisted, total 65.0. Tackles for a loss, and sacks is 1.5. Trey Reddick, another linebacker. He's a sophomore. With his second and tackles, Jalen Husky, DB. Four solo tick. He's got. God, messing this up. But so they've got a lot of defensive players. There's a freshman defensive tackle that is on that is really doing really well for him. I think he's number 33. No, he's not number 33. He's got a weird number. I'm trying to remember it right now. Yeah, here he is. Defensive line number 29, Sidney Stewart. This kid is a true freshman, and he's playing really well for defensive lineman as a true freshman. They have a lot of youth on Maryland's team, really. But so, what do you think about this? What do you think about this Maryland game?
Like I said before, they have a bunch of, close games versus, close game against Nebraska.
Right.
You have another really close game, versus Washington. Like I said, they shut them out until the second half. And, that's when Washington came back and they kind of, picked out their defense a little bit. I think with this game, though, I think it's going to be a fast, physical game. But I definitely see, the veteran versus the freshman and the youth, the people that have been around for a while versus, the ones that are starting out. And it still isn't an excuse, It's all about who shows up that game. That's how I think about it. I think we need to come in it just like we did against UCLA, think that they're one of the best teams. And, we need to come in and be fast, physical, relentless, and poised.
Just like Coach says.
Just like Coach says.
Yeah. That's one thing I'm looking at too, is I'm really hoping with all these, I think there's like 11 schools right now that have fired their coaches already. LSU, Penn State. There's got a lot of them, but UCLA, I mean, to name a few. I just hope we get to keep our coordinators too. When you look at when we had really good coordinators at IU, how well we did.
Yeah.
Under Tom Allen even.
Yeah.
We had Canada, DeBoer, come in, and we had some that went on to coach even in the pros as defensive coordinators that were at Womack. We've had a lot of really good coordinators come through our program. Tom Allen was a hell of a defensive coordinator, still is.
Yeah.
Coordinators come through our program and go on the coaching tree to great places.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to retain your full staff. Coach Sig has really been great at keeping his staff home.
Yeah.
I mean, their family, their friends, but I'm really nervous about that losing, because if you're a head coach, this is how I gotta put this. If you're a head coach, and you can let the defense take care of themselves, you know what I mean? The whole crew of, defensive coordinators and co-coordinators, they all know they have a tree. They all know that they're taken care of. And as a head coach, you don't have to worry about it, because they're in good hands. Probably one of the best coordinators in the country right now is Haynes, without a doubt. On the offensive side, of course, Shanahan, Coach Sig still dabbles with the offense, because he loves offense.
Yeah.
He really does. Even the co-coordinators, Pat Coots, Ola Adams, some of these guys, that it's going to be hard to keep them around. Tino Cincinnati, of course, left UCLA and they canned him, but I still think he's going to do good somewhere.
See, that's where it's a little touchy here, because I don't know if this is a true statement. Anybody can tell me I'm wrong. But with what our coach got, he gave some to his coordinators.
Right.
And I think that they all have this system of belief that they want to start something at IU. But even then, Dad, even then, you got to think to yourself, if you're going to come coach at IU, you have to have a resume. Coach isn't just going to let anybody come and stomp on and, do this. You got to have a resume.
Yeah.
And so either way is what I'm saying is that if any of our coordinators do choose to leave and go be a head coach somewhere, I wish the best for you. But also, there's always the next man wanting to shine. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying anything, bad. I'm just saying that, I think our coaches right now are well paid. They all have this belief that they want something. They want a national title at Bloomington, Indiana.
Right.
And you keep yourself in the same mindset. Now, I get where the money's at. I know the coordinators don't get, paid as much as the head coach does. And money is always talking, but I think we have a good chance of all of them staying.
Well, I hate doing this, but Indiana on the spread is 21.5 favorites and 51.5 total points. We beat the spread pretty much a lot, but I don't know. I just this is another one of those games. They've had a lot of really close games they've been in. We're at Maryland. So, and they lost, of course, losing to Washington 24-20 and Nebraska 34-31. So, yeah, I don't know. But,
yeah, I mean, they definitely proved us wrong. Last podcast we were talking about, what to watch out for, what we're looking at. And they pretty much covered all those bases pretty well, which ended up leading to a blowout.
right.
I know coach is probably out there practicing with the team right now, and getting them put together and watching film and having a little, get together. And I have full faith to just, this Maryland team, coming off of a bye week, something that we definitely have to look out for.
Yeah, they're definitely someone, we have to look out for. They have some really good players. Like I said, Malik Washington, the true freshman, he's a good player, dual threat quarterback. Maryland's defense has been a strong point, really, in the Big Ten. They really have. They're near top in national interceptions. So I just curious how this game's gonna go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those games where this is also another big game for us. And we have to keep pushing forward with them. I see what you're talking about with Maryland being one of the top, and picks. That's going to be something that we definitely got to look for. They're 18th nationally in scoring on defense, 18 in third down conversion defense, and 19th in the red zone defense.
That's pretty good.
They're also ranked 12th in the Big Ten, 53rd nationally. But that is good. That is real good. That's 17.3 points per game for their defense.
That's good.
Yeah, so they're above 500 on that, which is .762 if they're being technical here. They're actually first in the Big Ten for sacks, second in the nation for interceptions.
Yeah, their defensive coordinator. A lot of people don't know this, but he's been around for a while. He's actually was an NFL coach, defensive coordinator. He really schemes really well. hides his coverage really well. Never know where the blitz is going to come from. A lot of youth on there. You know, we're really going to have a strong run game, and hopefully we win the turnover battle because we've had I don't know what the stats are, but I know we've had off of turnovers. We've had a lot of points off of turnovers. I don't have that stat in front of me, but yeah.
They that's really what's going to really call this game, to be honest with you. You know, if we get into a struggle early, you know, and hopefully we don't, you know, they have the potential.
Yeah.
And some, you know, with being first in the nation, second in the nation for interceptions, you know, I mean, total yards allowed, they're 53rd nationally, which is 351 yards. So, I mean,
Yeah, I hate to have like a dead time right now. I'm really trying to think what the score is going to be for this game. But you know, I don't know. I'm trying to think of it.
I mean, if you have a lot of blitzing, you know, you need to be able to fool the defense of them coming in off the blitz and start running the ball.
Yeah.
Which is going to be really interesting because guess where Hemby came from? Maryland.
Yeah. I don't know if he left that with a bad taste in his mouth or just was seeking money.
I don't know. That's a good question.
You know what I mean? I don't know what happened there because they had a lot of players leave Maryland, which was really surprising to me because I know they had a rough year last year, so that probably had something to do with it. Yeah, but you know, for Indiana, I think the keys to win is to maintain the offensive rhythm and quarterback. Quarterback Fernando has been really great this year. And he's in the Heisman race, Heisman Doza.
Yeah.
The kids would say. Any air rush for, I don't dominate the ground game might be a key to this game too, I think.
Yeah.
I really do.
To bounce back on Robin Hemby, he did not leave there with a bad taste in his mouth. He just wanted a fresh start and he came to IU.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe try to get his draft status up a little bit better.
Yeah, it's one of the things that he said. He said he wanted to seek a fresh start at Indiana University, citing his desire for a winning program and a better opportunity to showcase his skills.
Right. Yeah, that's it then.
Yeah.
Another key, I think, for us beating them is maintaining our defensive dominance in football games. Especially in the second half, we have just shut down people.
Mm-hmm.
In the second half, the adjustments has been amazing by his defensive coordinator Haynes and his staff underneath them. They really do a great job. If we help have that defensive pressure like we have been, it's going to be. We might have a big win again. I don't like doing that. Don't like saying that.
Right.
One game at a time. If Maryland turns over the ball and
Malik Washington's a really good runner, but they do turn over the ball a lot. You know, they're going to have to run the ball too against us, and and we're really good against the run. I think it's going to be a hard thing to do. You know, so and another thing is Maryland hasn't been good in the red zone. Really, really good. You know, field goals won't cut it against IU.
Right.
I don't know. Creating turnovers is another
And
thing.
capitalizing on them too.
Capitalizing on Indiana has been amazing on that.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I don't. I mean,
Sorry, I'm over here looking at ticket prices
for Maryland,
for Maryland. $41 to $76 each.
really,
I don't know if I'm on the away side or if I'm on the student side or just saying, if any Hoosiers were wondering about it.
we thought about going to that game.
Yeah, we did.
You know, we were supposed to go to Oregon. We couldn't make it because my mom was sick. And same thing for now. You know, it's my mom's still sick, in recovery center. But Mom, if you're watching this, Dad, love you. Mom, get better so you can start going to the coach's show and the football games. You know, I don't know. That's what she loves. She loves football.
Yeah.
And I'll say this. I bet you she knows more about football than a lot of people in the stands that are watching.
Yeah.
You know, being a coach's wife,
Yeah.
watching film, and, you know, watching teams play, and she knows a lot about football.
Yeah.
I mean, she loves the game of football. She's always been a big football person. You know, my dad played when my dad was playing. Semi-pro, she was there every game. I was actually born, and my dad got taped up and go play the game that night. So that's crazy. My mom loves football. She loves IU football. Thank you, Scott and Coach Sig, for getting her that signed football. That was awesome of you guys. But anyway, I got off a tangent again. I've been known to do that. I don't know if I have ADHD or what. Been crazy. Couple of weeks. I think that we might go to Purdue. We're trying to get some of our friends together. I know a lot of IU fans are talking about taking over the stadium. That'd be kind of cool because how long I've been around, you know, IU football has been like, wow, you know, I just, Purdue has come here and stacked it. Ohio State has come here and stacked their stadium. Purdue in the past, especially in their glory years, a couple of years back, you know, getting to watch that boy from Texas come here and play at Purdue and having a really good career at the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
You know, you know, so I and Purdue had a really good team in the past. They really did.
Knocked off Ohio State one year.
Yeah.
That to me, that was like the only time I'd ever been a Purdue fan. The only time.
I'm really curious too that you say that. If you look at the standings right now for the Big Ten, I was trying to tell my dad this. You know, because I said the Big Ten championship game. You know, the Big Ten standings are crazy. I'm pretty sure if we win against Maryland, you know, I think that we might actually go to the championship game if we beat Maryland.
We're already looking at going to the championship game.
Yeah, but I'm saying for probability wise, you know, because you have, you know, us
in Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon's 4-1. We beat Oregon,
Mm-hmm.
right? Iowa's 4-1. We beat Iowa.
Right.
Okay? So USC is still 3-1. We didn't play against them. Michigan is 4-1. We're not playing Michigan. We're not playing USC. The conference standings is what it, is what's important here.
Yeah.
To be in the Big Ten championship game. Of course, last year we were in a 3-way tie, and I still don't know what happened there. It must have been a head-to-head situation, but we didn't get in.
Right.
It was raining, but anyway.
Yeah. Anyhow.
Brand. So this year we might actually get into this, and I think that we will. People. I'll have to say I hate looking forward. I like to stay in the now, stay in this game, stay in the next. This game is the only game this week for us, and not looking to the future. But it's exciting to think that in my lifetime, I never thought I would see this, that we might have an undefeated Indiana Hoosiers going into the Big Ten championship, getting a number 2 seed, which means we would go to the Cotton Bowl in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Dad, you keep going on and on and on about this, you might just have yourself a stroke.
I know. I might. I really might. It's just,
If that, okay, I'm coming over for it. Theoretically, if we do win this, game and go to the Big Ten championship game, and this does happen, I have to come for that game. You want to know why? Because 911's going to be dialed silently in my pocket.
yeah.
We'll have to get Grandpa here too.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's just what the record is right now for the rankings, for the standings for Big Ten. Yeah. So in the conference, but well, thank you for being with us today. We've been on the show here for 53 minutes. Please like and share our videos. Really would love to have some of you on here. Anybody from the IU Media School, shout out, would like to come over and help me with some of the graphics and stuff, or the intro, just get a hold of me on X or anything else, and try to help me out. Maybe I'll throw you a couple dimes. So yeah, go ahead, and we're going to end this today. Thank you for having us. We're working hard to get in our studio/office together. We got some things going on here. We're getting our stuff. I have stuff in the closet as far as footballs, helmets, my Bills Mafia stuff, my signed football from not Anthony Thompson. Wow. But yeah, so signed football for the Buffalo Bills I'm going to have on display behind me, and some other things. We're going to have a little bar back here behind us and beside us, and it's just a work in progress trying to get this done. But thank you for joining me. We're going to get better at this every week. This is our first week, first year doing this, and we've only been doing it for 5 weeks now, I think. We'll get better day by day. That's the way I am. I always want to get better at whatever I do. Day by day, week by week, just get better doing it. So thank you very much for being with us. God bless. And thank you for having us.